Good morning, guys and girls. This is math class for Wednesday, September the 2nd. Today, our learning target is I can read and write whole numbers by identifying the value of each digit within a number, okay? So we're going to be able to read and write our whole numbers, and we're going to be able to tell you the value and the place of each multi-digit number, okay? So let's get started for today. First of all, I want to start with a poem, actually, from Shel Silverstein. It's called Smart. I'll show you this one. It's called Smart. All right, so listen to the words of this poem. It says, my dad gave me $1 bill because I'm his smartest son, and I swapped it for 2 shiny quarters because 2 is more than 1. And then I took the quarters and I traded them to Lou for 3 dimes. I guess he don't know that 3 is more than 2. Just then along came old blind Bates, and just 'cause he can't see, he gave me 4 nickels for 3 dimes, and 4 is more than 3. And I took the nickels to Hiram Combs down at the feed store, and that fool gave me 5 pennies for 'em, and 5 is more than 4. And then I went and showed my dad, and he got red in the cheeks and closed his eyes and shook his head. Too proud of me to even speak. Okay. So let's talk about that poem just for a second. So here we have this little fella who got a $1 bill from his dad, and he traded and traded and traded till he ended up with 5 pennies. 5 pennies. Now, we know that $1 is worth a lot more than 5 pennies, but the person in this story wasn't thinking about the worth or the value of that money. He was just thinking about the quantity or the number, and he thought about the number 1 and he thought about the number 5. Well, if we're just thinking about the number 1 and the number 5, 5 is more than 1. But if we're talking about the value of something, that $1 bill was way more than the 5 pennies, worth the 5 pennies, all right? So today our learning target, right, we're going to read and write numbers, and we're also going to be able to know their place and where they belong in the place value chart. So I want to go over and show you my place value chart. I'm going to switch the camera there so we can look at my screen. All right, the place value chart. So let's look over that just for a second. First of all, the place is where a number is located. All right, where a number is located. So if I had a 5 in this number here, I put a 5 right here, the place would be in the 10,000s place. But the value wouldn't just be a 5 if I had a number right here, right? If I had a 5 in this box, the value would be worth 5 times 10,000. Well, 5 times 10,000 is 50,000. So if a number is here on the place value chart, it's located in the 10,000 spot, but its worth would be 50,000. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's look at our place value chart. Let's go through the numbers. For 5th grade and our whole numbers, we need to learn our whole numbers from the ones all the way to the 100 millions place value. Okay, so we have our ones, tens, hundreds, comma, 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s, comma, 1 million, 10 millions, 100 millions. Okay. Now, notice the commas that are here. Notice how many numbers there are before we have a comma. So 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we call that actually has a name. That group of 3 digits that are separated by commas, that's called a period, and I have that right there on your place value chart. Okay, a period is a group of 3 digits or numbers that are separated by commas in a multi-digit number. So if I just have the number, let me get my board out just for a second. If I just have the number 532, right? I don't need a comma. This is just one whole period. But if I have the number 1,532, I'm going to add my comma there to separate the periods. This is the ones period. This is the thousands period. Okay? Let's look back at the chart just for a second. Notice that we have ones, tens, hundreds, and these three things just continue to repeat themselves on and on and on and on. If we were to continue to go into the billions and the trillions, ones, tens, and hundreds is just going to repeat itself. Now, you know what period you're in by, this is kind of like the base here. So I know that this is the thousands period because look, all of those end in thousands. I know that this period is the millions period. All those ends in millions. And my ones, tens, and hundreds just repeat itself. So ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. Okay? So we'll need to know that as we learn to read these multi-digit numbers, and we need to know where they are located. Last thing I want to talk about is that we can present numbers in three different ways. And this is a review. You know that we have a standard form or number. Sometimes we see that as numerical form, and a numerical just means that we're using numbers there. So the standard form in this number is 154,632. The word form is when we read that word, read that number and say it out loud, we're just writing the words for it. So 154,000, there's my comma because I'm separating my periods, 632. And last but not least is our expanded form. An expanded form is where we just stretch out all of our numbers by their value. Okay, so if I have a 1 in the hundreds thousand spot, the value of that is 100,000. If I have a 5 in the 10,000 spot, the value of that is 50,000. A 4 in the thousand spot is 4,000. A 6 in the 100 spot is 600. A 3 in the 10 spot is worth 30. And a 2 in the 1 spot is just worth 2. So I write that all stretched out. Okay? Now, let's practice a few examples just for a second. All right, let me erase this number and let's write a multi-digit number here that we can use. What if I have the number 1,764,802? 802. Right? If I were to use my place value chart and put this number in a place value chart, I know that this is the ones place. This is the tens. Here is the hundreds. Then I have my comma. Then we have the thousands, the 1,000s. Right? Here are the 10,000s. Here are the 100, I'm going to abbreviate, thousands. And then we've got going into another period, and we have the millions, right? The 1 millions there, okay? So if I want to ask about this number here, maybe I want to know about this 6 right here. Well, this 6, if I want to know the place, right? That's just where it is located on my chart. So on my chart, the place that this is located is the 10,000s place. So I'm going to write that. And if I were to ask you where is the 6 located, you would say 10,000s. But if I want to know the worth or if I want to know the value, those are synonyms for each other, right? I'm going to put that again. If I want to know the value of that 6 in this number, that means I want to know the worth. And I know that the 6 in this number is worth way more than just 6, right? Because it's in the 10,000s place. So I know that 10,000, right, is that number. And if I have 6 of those there, I can multiply that by 6, And that tells me that the value of that 6 in that place is 60,000. 60,000. All right. Let's try another one in our same number. In our same number. Let me erase that. Okay. Let's go for the 8. Okay. So my 8, if I want to know the place that the 8 is located, that means where on my chart. I know that that's located in the hundreds place. Right? And the value of that 8 in this number, the value of that 8, since it's in the hundreds place, I know that that's saying I have 100, and since there's an 8 there, that's like having 8 hundreds there. So 8 times 100 would be 800. And the value of that 8 is worth 800. All right? Let's do one last one. One last one. Okay? Let's look at the 1 in this number. The 1 located in this chart, so the place that it's in, is the millions place. But the value, man, I'd love for somebody to give me this 1, what it's worth here, right? So the value of this 1, I know that there are, the millions place is written like that, and I have 1 million there. So the value of this number is 1 million. Okay? So today, we learned about place and value in the place value chart. And you're going to get some more practice with that with me live and completing your quizzes for today. Okay? I hope you enjoyed. I will send you a place value chart for you to have too to look at. We also will be taking notes on that in our notebook for tomorrow. See you soon.